Colorado turns to China to protect against COVID-19, ordering millions of pieces of personal protective equipment. Governor says he even considered sending a 747 to China to fill up and fly home. Wait, Colorado has a 747? Since when? We check in with a rural county, feeling isolated and loving it.
That's kind of what we're trying to avoid here, not interacting with people from other parts of the state or out of state.
Some Coloradans aren't allowed to order their groceries online, even if the supermarket near them is completely willing. Military honors play out at Fort Logan, even with no one there to see them. Why exactly are golf courses still busy? And a Coloradan who is drawing the story of our time apart. Come on into my place. This is next. Colorado is counting on China to protect us against COVID-19. Governors left largely to fend for themselves for protective equipment and ventilators have been trying to cut deals wherever they can around the globe. And Governor Jared Polis said today that Colorado turned to China. The state has ordered millions of pieces of protective equipment and 700 ventilators, and even considered taking an empty 747, flying it to China, trying to fill it and fly it back home.
I want to thank the Chinese province of Hunan that is kindly sending us 10,000 masks. But we've also had to really scramble to be able to talk to Chinese factory owners and others. At one point, I even considered, should we send over our own state 747 to China and trust our negotiators to be able to fill it before it came back.
They did not end up sending the plane. And for the life of me, I have no idea what the governor is talking about when he talks about our own state 747. There is no state 747 that I know of. So there is that one big 747 that's down in Colorado Springs, the global supertanker, the firefighting plane that works on contracts around the globe. We've worked with them before, but the president of that company says he has absolutely no idea what the governor is talking about. Anyway, plane didn't go to China. Maybe the governor's staff can clarify that for us. COVID-19 hospitalizations in our state continue to climb as we expected. 620 people hospitalized as of today's update. That number does not go down as people leave the hospital. That's all the people hospitalized so far, but we know that they tend to be in for weeks. 80 Coloradans have died. There are 3,300 and change known cases, and Colorado has tested more than 18,000 people. Coloradans getting their monthly food benefits over the next 10 days are headed to grocery stores, hoping that they're able to find what they need. They're not online shopping as so many of us do because of bureaucratic red tape. Our Anusha Roy explains.
There is the kind of help with immediate results.
Our food donations have gone out to, I think, 85 individual apartments.
And then there's the kind of help that takes a little longer to flush out.
Started petitions.
Paul Varanis is a part of a network in the Lowry neighborhood to deliver food to lower-income families. That's when he heard from a mother.
Her benefits don't allow for the grocery services that we all take for granted. She's stuck and she doesn't know what to do, how to get food.
He's talking about buying groceries online. Only 5 states are a part of a pilot program for SNAP that makes it easier to do that at specific stores. Colorado, with more than 431,000 people relying on this benefit, is asking the feds to be added to that list.
So we've got people that are immunocompromised, that have kids with special needs, that are elderly, that have no other choice between going to the grocery store and risking exposure or getting exposed and getting food on their table.
In the meantime, there are some limited choices. After finding a grocery store that accepts SNAP benefits, people can search for a store that allows them to order online but pick up in person. The only store we found does that today is Walmart. They can also look for stores set up to swipe cards when the groceries are delivered versus paying online ahead of time. And people also have the option to authorize someone to go shopping for them using their SNAP benefits. How they do that varies by county.
Sometimes it takes a village to navigate and figure all this stuff out.
Democratic State Senator Robert Rodriguez said delivery fees are not covered.
They don't have the capacity currently to accept EBT cards online purchases.
Stores have to be open to any changes that are ultimately up to the feds.
As more people are becoming unemployed and applying and doing all this stuff, it's going to grow.
For Next, I'm Anusha Roy.
So at the federal level, Democratic Congressman Joe Neguse of Boulder County is working on a proposal that would make it easier for people to use SNAP benefits for online grocery shopping. One more related note on this. This is also the time of the month, first day of the month, when people get Wic benefits. So that's for families, especially families with young kids. And they're only allowed to buy certain brands, certain sizes, certain items. And we certainly hope that those are in stock for people. Just something to think about before you go and clear a grocery store shelf out of something. And if you're in a fortunate position where you don't have to grocery shop for a couple of days, and you can let somebody go in and use their benefits to get the limited items that they can, maybe that's something that we should be doing. Colorado state legislators are not going to run out of time on this year's session. The state Supreme Court ruled 4-3 today in favor of Democrats who want to be able to resume the suspended session and keep working. The court ruled against Republicans who wanted to let the 120-day clock run out on the Democratic majority at the Capitol. So we have taken you to countless military funerals over the years, and you know the honor guard and the folded flag and the crowd paying their respects. That continues in a time of COVID-19, just without all the people. Our Steve Steger and photojournalist Chris Hansen take us to Fort Logan.
There is an innate human need to say goodbye. It is part of our core, part of our grief. When a life is lost, a community mourns together.
You hear gunshots representing the final volley. You hear taps being played.
Ma'am, on behalf of the President of the United States.
At Fort Logan National Cemetery, that morning has a sound.
Please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service.
A sound that has changed, just like the rest of the world around us.
There's this eerie sense of quiet.
The ceremonies that typically fill these shelters have stopped. Direct burials are the only real option until people can gather again.
To not be able to do that was particularly painful.
Painful for Jay Bangle, who lost her father and mother in a series of months.
We made the choice after Dad passed away to wait to do his funeral until Mom went, and we would do them together.
Art Bangle was 96, a veteran of World War II.
His service meant a lot to him.
It earned Art and his wife Olive a place here.
We couldn't be there, but we couldn't wait until this was over to have them interred.
We've had to be more creative than ever.
And that's what funeral director John Horan's team did.
They wanted to do something for this family.
His two employees held a service of their own and used a phone to record it.
It was just really beautifully done.
And they sent it to the family.
You could only do so much, and they treated the whole thing with the utmost of respect.
It's not the same, but it's better than nothing. And we're doing the best that we can.
The best anyone can.
And until we get on the other side of this, places like Fort Logan will be quiet.
Even at a time when nothing feels normal or right, there is always a way to help someone say goodbye.
It was what it needed to be, which was a closure.
For Next, I'm Steve Steger.
Wow, that's pretty remarkable. Let's get a view from rural Colorado now. Had the opportunity today to talk with Yuma County Commissioner Dean Wingfield. Yuma County is a 2-hour drive east of Denver, and these days, the commissioner tells me they are feeling pretty isolated. Just how they like it.
That's kind of what we're trying to avoid here, not interacting with people from other parts of the state or out of state. And that's kind of one of our intents out here is we're not scared of ourselves as much as we are of people we don't know where they've been or where they've been around.
Sure. Tell me about your concern about the upcoming hunting season.
Well, we're, like in most rural farming communities, our age is above average. We've got, I think, probably over 20% over 65 years old. Our average age out here is probably 40 years old. We have 2 great community hospitals in the county here. They got great staff, but they just don't have the number of beds or the equipment to be able to handle much of any kind of a surge in our numbers out here. And so we're trying to keep that down to be able to handle what we have here. And what we're scared about the hunting season is bringing outsiders in here that we don't know anything about. we don't want to bring something we don't have to bring here. We're staying at home, and we're trying to stay at home. We like other people to stay at home too. It concerns us all here. It's something we've never seen before, and hopefully never see again.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for your time. And when you see the appropriate folks in the community, pass along our thanks for the work that the folks in agriculture are doing, because you guys are the beginning of the food supply chain, which everybody's appreciative for and will be in a couple of months too. So our thanks for that. And let's stay in touch here moving forward.
Yeah, and we want to keep our people healthy to grow the food we need all over the country. And we're just asking people to stay at home like the governor's wanting to do. And staying at home means giving up, one season of hunting. That's all we're trying to get by here.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife told me this afternoon they are having discussions right now about whether to cancel spring turkey season, which begins April 11th. The pandemic is an epic saga, and it's already being drawn into a story by a cartoonist in Colorado.
One of the reasons I'm doing this comic is to keep the hope alive.
And let's look at why golf courses are still letting people gather, while the rest of us are told to stay apart. Next.
Hi there, I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. In spite of the cloud cover today, temperatures close to 70, way above average. But a big change with the arrival of a cold front tomorrow. The high and mid-level clouds coming into the state on the southwest winds will start to shift east. And then this little troublemaker's coming in, bringing rain showers by tomorrow afternoon and snow by tomorrow night. Snow estimates an inch or two on the grass by Friday morning, and then the whole system rolls out just in time for the weekend. Winter weather advisories for the northern mountains, but no advisories for Denver. Calm, quiet tonight, low 33. You wake up to cloudy skies tomorrow, high 41 with falling temperatures during the day. Rain by 3, snow by 6, done noon on Friday, and then a nice warming trend back close to 70 degrees for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as well.
So based on your emails, a lot of you are passing time these days by narking on your neighbors for doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, or businesses that are open and are not supposed to be. So this little army of informants, let's go to a golf course. Lots of people have been asking why golf courses are open. Our Marshall Zellinger found out that the greens are a gray area.
And attention, golfers.
First things first.
Please maintain your social distancing.
Golf courses are not closed based on the state's stay-at-home order.
We would like to keep the golf course open.
We believe that this is an incredibly safe way to get out, get some fresh air for a few hours. You're not touching anything else. You get back in your car and you go home.
Riverdale Golf Course in Adams County, with enough cars in the parking lot you'd think it was a grocery store, is just one example of a golf course open despite the governor repeatedly saying this.
To save lives, you're staying at home. To stay at home to reduce the spread of the virus.
Know that when you look around this golf course, there are no people packed together.
By being open, golf courses should be following new rules. Pay online, no carts, no rakes in the sand traps, don't take the flag out, and holes turned upside down so the ball does not fall in. Take a look at what we saw at Riverdale, or Meridian Golf Club in Englewood, or the Links, a public course in Highlands Ranch, and compare it to the number of people out at Denver City Park. Is there a difference?
I clearly get there may be some mixed messaging. Look at all those people, they're not at home. Why aren't they doing what they're supposed to be doing? We're okay with golf courses staying in business as long as they practice appropriate social distancing.
Dr. John Douglas is the head of Tri-County Health, which last week had a stay-at-home order that specifically closed golf courses in Adams, Arapahoe, and Douglas counties, but took it back after the statewide stay-at-home order took effect, which does not specify what should happen with golf courses.
Staying cooped up, mental health, it's an issue. We're trying to find ways of, I wouldn't say creatively, but flexibly acknowledging that.
Between my efforts and our sports department, we've been hitting from the rough, trying to get someone from the golf community to talk about opposition. There is, however, this. A well-known Colorado golf writer has written a yet-to-be-published opinion piece entitled, "Golfers Should Miss This Tee Time." Quote, "We need to care more about the game itself than anyone's right to play at this historic and dangerous time." Kyle, might I suggest some mini golf in your home? Get some objects just hanging around the house. Use a pair of glasses, perhaps, as the hole. Have a ball retriever in a dachshund down there, and hopefully, good enough. We'll call it good. An ace.
So, okay, for folks who've not been watching every night, Marshall and I have a running challenge to see how many of his many Emmy Awards he can gratuitously and obnoxiously get onto television, and I never in a million years pictured a genius move like that. Sir, I salute you. Well done.
Moves on you now.
Isolation is sparking creativity for some Coloradans.
So, and yes, it is therapeutic to basically get these thoughts out of my head and onto a piece of paper.
Perhaps it'll inspire you to tell your story of social distancing. Next. Comics usually evoke feelings of superheroes or the funny pages, you know, but cartoonists are using their pens to draw up everyday life, including what every day is like right now. That's what we found cartoonist Carl Christian Krumholtz doing in Denver.
I mean, this quarantine is the big news of the year so far, and it just felt right to document it. Hi, I'm Carl Christian Krumholtz, cartoonist. Almost 2 weeks in and the city is locked down, and Kelly still has to go into work. Since the beginning of the year, I've been doing a daily diary comic, one comic a day, basically talking about my life, my wife, and what's going on in the world. There's not many people left in the office as most are working from home. So social distancing is not really a problem. It's been helping over the last 2 weeks because I've been dealing with this new reality of social isolation and quarantine, dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. Day 6, I keep working. I keep pretending that everything is normal. I feel the warm breeze through the window. I hear people outside talking. Everything is normal. Everything is normal. It's easy to fall into hopelessness. One of the reasons I'm doing this comic is to keep the hope alive, to keep going on rather than just despairing and sitting on the TV and watching Netflix. The comic is helping me kind of process what's going on. So yeah, in that sense, yes, I am hopeful.
And Carl is even giving you a rare glimpse of our photojournalist Corky Scholl, who now exists in comic format. Carl wrote some new scenes after their conversation a few days ago. You can check out Carl's work at his website or on social media. So, every morning people are sitting around on those Zoom meetings that everybody has to do. And just imagine if your Zoom background looked like this. You could answer an incessant string of questions every day about, is the fireplace real? And is that wood or wine corks behind you? Well, fear not. We have a way for you to make this your Zoom background. That and your feedback next. A month ago, I couldn't have told you what Zoom was, and now it's the only way that the 9 News team meets. And, if they make people use video, your backgrounds can get a little sketchy or boring, and we can help with that. Our ace producer, Aaron, has put together this whole fleet of Colorado-specific backgrounds that you can import into your Zoom meetings and use as your backgrounds. There's even one of my home studio. You can pretend like you're sitting at the fireplace. So to get all these backgrounds from the Next team, just text the hashtag HeyNext to 303-871-1491. If anybody asks why you're over at my house, just say that we are roommates. Brittany said, thank you for acknowledging the folks in our community who rely on SNAP and Wic Benefits. She works in Child Protective and says it's a big concern for those families. Troy says, my wife and I are trying to make a decision. Is it a bad idea if we go to our second home in Grand County? We think we know the answer. You do know the answer. Infection rates are high, hospital resources are low. Don't go.